The movie opens up with a young woman named Liv having a nightmare where she is trapped under ice and then in a train. She calls out, but there is no one there to help until she is forced awake. Next, she is in a car with her younger sister Mia. They are being taken to London by their mother, who wants to introduce her daughters to her new husband, Ernest, and his children. Not long after the two girls arrive, Liv and Mia are introduced to their stepfather's children, a boy and girl, similar age to Liv, named Grayson and Florence. However, Florence is openly hostile towards her new step-siblings, straight off the bat. Liv responds by asking her mother how quickly she was able to move on after her father passed away, which her mother does not appreciate. Later that night, after dinner, Liv falls asleep and finds herself in a different dream from that of her usual nightmare of calling out to her father. Instead, she is in a cemetery where she spots Grayson speaking to 3 other boys. She wanders closer, and Grayson is not happy to see her, demanding she go away. One of the boys, named Henry, takes an interest in Liv, though she states that he seems weird. Another boy named Arthur approaches her and states that she is the maiden they've been looking for, which confuses Liv as well as Grayson, Henry, and their friend Jasper. Liv questions Arthur about what he means by this, and he explains that she can wander into other people's dreams. However, before she knows it, she is wide awake. The next morning, Liv and Mia are to begin attending their new school in London. When they arrive, Mia is taken by a student council member named Daisy to her class, while Liv is shown her locker by the student council president, whose name is Persephone. She reveals that Liv's locker is cursed, as it belongs to a missing student named Annabelle, and points out that Annabelle's friends are watching her right now. Liv sees that these friends of Annabelle are the same boys she saw in her dream last night: Arthur, Jasper, Henry, and her stepbrother Grayson. That night, once Liv arrives home, she is watching old videos of her late father in her room when she hears voices outside her window. It is the boys who are speaking to Grayson. Liv decides to go greet them, and they're happy to see her, especially Henry, who has taken a keen interest in her. The boys invite Liv to a party on the weekend, and she reluctantly accepts. That night, Liv dreams of being trapped under ice, drowning, until she sees a door that leads into an alley. Once in the alley, she meets a girl named Annabelle, the same Annabelle who was the former owner of her locker. Annabelle informs her that she could see her dad again in her dreams. All she must do is attend Arthur's party, and Liv is forced awake by her dog. On the night of the party, Liv arrives with her stepbrother, who is annoyed at her for stealing his sailor costume. They are greeted by Arthur, Jasper, and Henry, who have them follow to a private room. However, before this, Arthur runs into his cousin Persephone, who is a harmful substance, and this makes him furious, slapping it out of her hand. In the room, the boys conduct a ritual with Liv. They each draw blood from their fingers and print a book called the Book of Dreams, light a piece of paper, and toss it in a pot after writing their desired dreams on it. Jasper goes first, and his dream is to be a professional basketball player. Grayson is second, and his dream is to be elected the next school president. After that, it's Arthur, who states his dream is to be together again with Annabelle, and Jasper comments that his dream is sad. Next, it's Henry's turn, and he doesn't state his dream out loud, which annoys the boys. Lastly, it's Liv's turn, and she says in French she wishes that she could speak to her father one last time, lights her paper, and throws it into the metal pot. After the party, Liv falls asleep and dreams that she is back at the Alley of Doors, where she met Annabelle. She goes through one door to see she's in Grayson's dream, where he has become school president. Henry is there also, and he states that the two of them should leave. However, they are shocked to see that Grayson has his pants pulled down in front of the crowd and is deeply embarrassed. Henry and Liv share a moment in the alley, where Liv asks Henry if he is dreaming of her, and he asks the same of her. Before she can get an answer, she is woken by an angry Grayson who informs her that she shouldn't go into other people's dreams. The next morning, Liv arrives at school, and Persephone asks her if she knows what happened to Jasper. She shows her a video of one of his basketball games, and his dream to play professionally may be ruined as he has broken his arm. That night when Liv falls asleep, she meets Henry in the alley, who is glad to see her. The two of them go into Henry's dream, which is of his younger sister enjoying her life happily. Henry looks sad when he explains to Liv that his dream is to see his sister happy. The two of them hold hands and share a kiss, but are interrupted when the room starts to shake. The two of them keep running until they approach a ledge, and Henry asks Liv to jump. Liv refuses as they are very high up, but Henry explains that jumping from high places is a surefire way to exit a dream, and he ends up pushing her. At school, Liv is pleased to see Henry, though he plays it off as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Grayson is wearing a suit as he is in the running for student council president. Later, in the hall, the voting results are announced, and the boys and Liv cheer when Grayson is announced as the new president, beating out Persephone. Grayson runs to the stage to give a speech, but as he finishes, a masked man runs onto the stage and pulls his pants down. The hall bursts into laughter, with many taking pictures and videos of Grayson's embarrassing moment. After school, Liv speaks to Grayson. Her theory is that for some reason, their nightmares are becoming true. Jasper's basketball career is ruined, and Grayson is publicly embarrassed. So she meets the boys in the alley and explains her theory. Arthur realizes that would mean his nightmare is next, and it involves Persephone. Liv and the boys all wake up and rush to a nearby club where they believe Persephone may be. However, it is too late. Arthur's nightmare has come true, and Persephone has passed away from an overdose. Arthur is left in the club, weeping, while Liv begins to have a panic attack as the ambulance arrives. The next morning, a vigil is held for Persephone at school. Everyone except Arthur is in attendance, who is standing on his own crying. Later, the boys and Liv are in a room discussing how they should tackle the situation with their nightmares, as Henry is up next. Liv points out that the Book of Dreams is missing a page, and Arthur believes that Annabelle is the one behind this. The boys are confused, asking Arthur if he knows the whereabouts of Annabelle, and he reveals that she is in a clinic for her mental well-being. Liv pressures Arthur into arranging a meeting with her, and he is annoyed, which makes Henry interject to defend Liv, and he and Arthur begin arguing. As Liv is heading home that evening, she is stopped by Henry. He asks if he wants to come to his, and she agrees. There he opens up about his nightmare, which is that his mother, who has severe mental issues, ends up hurting his younger sister. Liv in turn reveals that her nightmare involves her being trapped under ice, as her father passed by falling into ice trying to save her after Liv left the house in anger one day. Henry reminds her that it wasn't her fault and the two kiss. Liv falls asleep in Henry's home, and in her dreams, she meets Annabelle, who informs her that Arthur is the one who is hiding the page. Liv states that he will never reveal to her where he's hidden it, so Annabelle suggests she go into his dream. Just then, Liv begins to choke, and she awakes to find Henry's mother choking her. Henry runs into the room and pulls his mother off Liv. When he's tending to her, he hears his sister Amy's screams and checks the window to see his mother make off with his sister. His worst nightmare come true. The two of them run outside when Liv asks Henry if he knows of Annabelle's situation. Henry is annoyed that Liv is asking this in his time of crisis, and the two argue, and Liv storms off. Liv arrives at school, where she is asked by Daisy if she will be attending tonight's blood moon viewing. She doesn't answer, instead approaching Grayson and Jasper and asking for Arthur's whereabouts. The two boys ask Liv what she's up to, but she leaves without giving them an answer. Arthur is in chemistry class, and Liv purposely annoys him to have him react. Before he realizes what she is doing, Liv puts Arthur to sleep by making him inhale a chemical, and she does the same to enter his dream. Whilst there, Liv finds the missing page of the book, which states that if the maiden is killed, the dreamer can enter anyone's dream at will, but if the maiden destroys the book, the curse is lifted. Just then, she spots an angry Arthur running towards her, and she runs to Annabelle's dream for safety. She informs Annabelle of Arthur's plan, and Annabelle suggests that because they're both maidens, they should destroy the book together. Liv heads home to find Grayson, and informs him of what she has learned. Grayson is on board, and the two of them head over to fetch Annabelle from the mental institution she is in. Once there, Liv pretends that she needs medical assistance to find Annabelle while Grayson waits outside. Annabelle is delighted to see her, even offering her a drink of water, which she takes. However, Liv sees that Arthur, Henry, and Jasper have also arrived. Annabelle and Liv run and steal Arthur's car while his attention is elsewhere, and Annabelle begins driving dangerously. Liv questions what she is up to, and Annabelle reveals that she is trying to murder her, as she is the one who planted the missing page to frame Arthur. Liv, now horrified, pulls the handbrake, and the car comes to a stop. Liv realizes that she is actually asleep, and that Annabelle has sedated her, so she jumps from the motorway barrier to force herself awake. Liv rejoins the boys, informing them Annabelle is the one who is trying to murder the maiden so she can enter anyone's dream. They arrive back at school, and Liv asks Daisy for Mia, but is informed that she has gone off with Annabelle. Horrified, Liv asks Henry to put her to sleep, and he refuses. But before he can talk her out of it, Grayson hits her with a metal pipe, knocking her out. In her dream, Liv struggles to overcome the nightmare that Annabelle has set for her. She is stuck under a sheet of ice, but then overcomes her fear, and finally defeats Annabelle. She awakes to rescue her sister and realizes the curses have been lifted when everyone's nightmares have been reversed. Jasper's arm is healed, and better yet, Persephone is alive and well at the moon viewing, and everyone quickly hugs her. Sometime in the future, another party is held at Arthur's. Everyone is delighted when Grayson and Liv arrive together, especially Henry. He and Liv share a kiss, and the two of them dance with their friends. However, Liv stops in her tracks when she sees a door at the end of the room, indicating that this is actually a dream.